with Connections Yoga, and we are cultivating change. How do we come into traditional yoga poses and make them look different? Where can we change for positive benefits in our lives? Grab your mat or carpeted space, a blanket, a block or two, and we'll come into our practice, settling seated on your blanket in any comfortable leg position that works for your body. That may look very different for you. Cross shins, stacked shins, extended leg, one leg out, legs forward. Really, it's a difference in how our bodies can come to sit up tall. Now maybe the start of this practice, you typically sit in the Sukhasana, ankles crossed or shins crossed or staggered feet. Pick something different. Remember, it's about cultivating change. Once you come into your space, I invite you to bring a hand to the heart. Close the eyes and breathe in your space. And open the eyes. We'll come into a rabbit breath, rapid fire breathing. You're going to take 2 quick inhales through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Nice way to clear up the sinus passages. You can also use it as a way to lengthen the neck and reach to the crown of the head. Lovely. Nice job on connecting to that rapid fire breath. Let's go ahead and start with cat and cow. Use your blanket underneath the knees. Now, typically I cue cat and cow pose from the pelvis, from the tailbone. I'm going to cue it differently this time. Bring those wrists under the shoulders, spread the fingers, knees under the hips. Now here, I'm going to invite you to tuck the chin towards the chest, to press into the hands, to lift the back, to draw the belly in towards the heart and the tailbone in towards the belly. Cat pose. Now, lift the chin, lift the chest, or press the chest down, belly comes down, and you lift the tailbone. Head comes down to the chest, press through the hands, lift the shoulder blades, draw the belly, and tuck the tailbone down. Lift the head, lower the chest, soften belly, lift the tailbone. Completely different experience when you cue it differently. All right, come to the table pose. That's just bringing shoulders in line with the hips. Now we're going to sway the pelvis side to side. Kick it out. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Kick it. Oh yeah. There we go. A little bit of play in our sweeping. All right. Now we're going to come to extend the right leg back. Here's our tabletop pose. Flex the foot, toes down towards the earth. Now, generally I say reach to the heel, but guess what? We're not going to flex the foot. We're going to point the toes. Squeeze the belly. Shift the weight to the right hand, left arm comes forward if you want to. You could also come down to your right forearm, keep the leg low. Remember, we're keeping it in line with the hip, and reach forward with the left arm. Pointing, reaching, lengthening through the toes. Bring your left hand down, and then take that pointed toes and cross your leg over. And you're going to curl the body. Now, a lot of times when we do this curled stretch, I have you press through the balls of the feet and the toes. This time we're going to do the top of the foot, and then I want you to walk the hands over towards the left side, so you got a really big C-shaped stretch. And you're going to come back to the center, bring the knee back, and go ahead and press back into a child's pose. But instead of coming down, elbows down, head down to the earth, we're going to keep those elbows straight and keep the torso and head up high. Come back to hands and knees. Extend left leg long. Start with a flex. Get out from the hip. Then point the toes. Point, point, point. Shift the weight into that left arm or left forearm and reach your right arm forward. Really lengthen. Squeeze the belly if you want more core or back strength. Then set your hand down. That top of the foot crosses over and is pressed to the earth. On the right side, walk your hands over to the right side. Get a nice little lateral stretch here. And then come back to the center. Bring your knee in. Then walk your way. Grab your blocks if you have them. Stay tall. Come up to your knees. We'll come into camel pose, a variation of camel pose. Take your block, place it next to your left leg. Your right arm is either going to come to the back of the hand, to the lower back, or you could press it palm to the back, and you're going to twist over and place your hand to your block. Or if you don't happen to have blocks, you could reach towards that ankle. And then feel free to lean into that space. You're going to press your shoulder back. Good. Slowly come out. And then shift the other block or that same block, depending on how many blocks you have. Hand to your lower back or support it. Twist over to your block and lift the heart. Open the shoulders by squeezing the shoulder blades together. Twisted camel. Slowly come back up. And of course, we want to fold forward for our release. So I'm going to invite you to either plant the hands to the earth or plant your hands to your block. We're going to come to a standing forward fold. Instead of a child's pose, which I would typically do, tuck your toes, lift the knees, and come to standing. Wherever you are, it may be more of a downward facing dog look, maybe more of a half fold or a full forward fold. And take your weight, settle it into the left leg, and I want you to bend your right knee. Slide your foot a little closer to the other foot. Then if you want to peel it off, or just toes, tiptoe touching the mat, feel free to do that. Or you could hug the heel in towards the body, flex the foot, and set that foot down right next to the other foot. Shift the weight to the right side, bend your left knee, and then see if you want to get tip of the toes further back, or do you want to flex the foot and hug towards the glutes and push away from your hands or your blocks. Set that foot down. We're going to step the feet hip distance apart. You're going to sink your pelvis, and I want you to lift the chest and remove a blanket if you got it there and come to standing. Or if there's another way that you would like to come to standing, go ahead and do that. Good. I'd like to come into a different mountain pose. Instead of having our feet together or our feet hip distance apart, let's go wide-legged. Step the feet out really wide to a comfortable place, wider than hip distance. Feet are face forward. We're going to shine the palms forward. Roll the shoulders back. Give a little squeeze of the shoulder blades so that your heart is opened. And then lift the toes and press into the toes. Really grip down into the earth. Hold yourself up. Yeah, nice job. You're going to take your left arm and reach it out. Turn the palm up to the sky and turn your head to look at that hand. Then bring that hand to the heart and the head faces forward. The other arm is going to reach up, palm up to the sky, turn your head to look at it, and bring the hands to the heart. And now we're going to turn our feet out. So this opens our hips. And when we sink down, I don't want you just to bend the knees and flop down. I want you to think about downward energy, bend in the knees, and the legs are going to naturally come into the shape of knees over the ankles. But I don't want you to drop your knees in. The knees don't point forward. The knees press back. So what can we do differently with our goddess pose? Straighten the knees. Sweep the arms up. You could do arms up as you sink down. Don't let those knees go over the ankles. Keep steady and strong, stack joints. And then come back up, turn palms down and lower the arms down. And then my favorite variation is teacup hands. Sweep the arms up as you bend elbows and bend the knees to traditional goddess. Now turn the palms towards you and flip the palms up to the sky. I want you to imagine you've got teacups sitting on your palms and you don't want to drop them. Delicate china. Teacup hands. All right, we're going to release that. Throw those teacups down, straighten the elbows, and then turn the feet forward. And then typically, if you heel toe your way in to the center, maybe you want to consider a little bounce, 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 or maybe a big jump, or you prefer that slow, steady movement back to the center. Good. What can we do differently with a chair pose? So perhaps use a block if you have one. Hold the block between your hands and then bring it to your chest. Now, if you don't happen to have a block, I want you to bring your palms to your chest, but instead of holding it up in prayer position, fingertips point forward, okay? And you're pressing into those palms. You're gonna reach those hips back. Check your hip distance. I like in chair pose, my feet wider than hip distance. Press into those palms or press into the block. Reach your hips back. Your knees start to slightly bend. And then you want energy. Energy pressing into the hands. Work those arms. Push all the way through the fingers. Don't just let it be the heels of the hands. Press into the tops of the palms and then into the fingers. And if you got those prayer hands, press into the fingertips. Then you're going to slowly straighten those knees and release. Set that block down if you've got that block. You're going to twist. Just keep it the upper body twist. Good. Now, instead of keeping the arms close to the body, you might twist with arms wide. You could twist with the hands behind the head. So many ways to change up the body. All right, let's release those hands. I want to give you some time in Shavasana. So I invite you, two choices. One, lie down to the earth with a blanket under your head and your neck. Or two, take a meditative seated Shavasana and you sit on your blanket. So come into your space. Now, if you're lying down and you traditionally lie down in your Shavasana, then maybe if your legs are typically long with straight knees, you bend the knees and plant the feet to the earth. Maybe if the knees are typically bent and you don't want to extend the legs long, you could if you want to, but you want to keep that back support, you step your feet out and let the knees fall in towards each other, like a little tent shape. Seeds of change. Where can you move forward in the next days, in the next weeks, to cultivate change, positive change in your life? A different outlook, a different experience, a different encounter. Where can you cultivate that change to better yourself? I invite you to come into your quiet space and just reflect on that. Deepen the breath. Let's come out of Shavasana a little differently. I invite you to open the eyes first. Take a nice deep breath and then move the head side to side. We bring the head back to the center. If you're seated, shrug or move the shoulders. If you're lying down, then maybe you start to move the hands and the feet in some form or fashion. All right, wherever you are, give it a stretch. If you typically stretch up, stretch out. If you typically stretch out, stretch up. Give yourself a hug wherever you are. Hug the knees into the body, wrap your arms around yourself, or just hug yourself. If you're lying to the earth, I invite you to rock side to side with knees drawn to the chest, and then very quickly roll over to your side with the knees there, hugged into the body. If you're seated, guess what? You can still rock side to side. Feel that nice soothing motion. If you're lying down to the earth, press your top hand, push yourself up, grab that blanket, and come join us seated on the blanket here in our seated position. And on that note with Ash Wednesday gives us the opportunity, the start of the Lenten season, looking for change. What can you do over these 40 days that invites a positive difference or a positive change in your life or the life of others? It doesn't matter if it's Ash Wednesday or if it's any other time of the year. We want to invite self-care, self-compassion, compassion for others, positive mindset, differences. There's so many things that you can focus on in your life and in your journey, of your wellness journey, to help make you and the world even a better place. So I invite you to bring your hands to the heart, and may you go forth bringing positive changes, not only to yourself, but to others and the world around you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. I would love to know that you're here sharing this class with me. So if you wouldn't mind, give me a little star rating after you click that leave button, and you can share a comment about your experience. What was your favorite change that you did, or a change that you're focusing on for your wellness journey? Then when you do that, click the leave button, submit button, takes you right back to the description of the class. You can access and follow me by the link in the description of the class, and you could also check out other Slow Flow Yoga classes. There's a playlist you can join and then access that through your Bird on One account. So I'm just really excited to connect with you on these classes about cultivation. So I hope that you'll join me very soon. Take care.